Seoul, the beating heart of South Korea. In the luxurious ballroom of the Lotte Hotel, crystal chandeliers lit up a night that promised to be unforgettable for high society. Businessmen, politicians, and celebrities gathered to honor the powerful Kang family. At the center of the hall, Mr. Kang Min-ho and his wife, Mrs. Park Ji-yeon, stepped onto the stage with proud smiles. Beside them, glowing in a golden dress, stood their favored daughter, Kang.
So?
Jean. With a firm voice, the patriarch announced before everyone. Today I present to you the true heir of the Kang Empire. My daughter.
So?
Jean. Applause echoed through the hall. Champagne glasses clinked. Guests bowed in respect. But in the back of the room, almost invisible, Kang Boon watched in silence. Dressed modestly, she wasn't part of the celebration, but part of the support staff, holding a tray of glasses, like a stranger within her own family. While the spotlight shone on.
So?
Jean. Boon felt the weight of rejection fall on her shoulders once again. In her eyes, pain mixed with quiet resentment. Backhand index pointing right, this was the beginning of a night that would change everyone's destiny.
Classical music echoed softly through the ballroom, while waiters moved among the luxurious tables. The shine of gold and crystal reflected in every corner, but for Kang Ha-yoon, nothing seemed to brighten her night. With the tray in her hands, she tried to blend in with the staff, avoiding attention. But fate did not spare her. Kang Soo-jin, dressed like a princess, spotted her rejected sister and gave a venomous smile. She walked over with firm steps, surrounded by friends and flatterers. "Oh, look at this," Soo-jin said loudly, drawing the guests' attention. "Even here, Ha-yoon is only good for carrying glasses. Do you really think you can be called a daughter of the Kang family?" An awkward silence filled the room, followed by muffled laughter. Some guests whispered, others looked away. Hoen, with trembling hands, lowered her head, fighting to hold back tears. Then Soo-jin picked up a glass of red wine from the tray and, with a calculated move, let the liquid spill over her sister's plain dress. "Oops, looks like even destiny conspires against you, hey." Now the laughter was loud, echoing like knives into the young woman's soul. Her face burned with shame, but in her eyes a silent flame began to rise. At that moment, before all of Seoul's elite, Ha-yoon felt the cruelest humiliation of her life. Not knowing that this would be the first step toward her turning point.
That night, after the party, Boon walked alone through the streets of Seoul. The lights of Gangnam glowed brightly, but for her there was only the darkness of humiliation. Her sister's cruel words echoed like a hammer. You re only good for carrying glasses. Determined to understand why she had always been rejected. Boon followed an old lead. A retired nurse, who had worked at the hospital where she was born, had asked to meet her in secret. The meeting took place in a small clinic hidden in an alley in Gangnam. The elderly nurse trembled as she handed over a yellowed envelope with old documents. Boon, you need to know the truth. On the day you were born, there was a switch, and nothing was as it should have been. With her heart racing, Boon opened the papers, medical records, old photos, and a hidden signature. The revelation was devastating. She wasn't the rejected daughter by accident. In fact, she was the true firstborn of the Kang family, the rightful heir, but had been kept in the shadows to protect her father's dark secrets. Tears rolled down her face. The pain of rejection now carried a new weight. Her own parents had chosen to live a lie, giving all the glory to Jean and condemning her to be forgotten. In that moment, something shifted inside Boon. Sadness gave way to a silent decision. She would no longer stay on her knees.
The cold dawn wind blew through the glowing streets of Gangnam as Kang Ha-yoon left the clinic with the envelope in her hands. Each step felt heavy, her mind spinning in a storm of anger, pain, and revelations. Then a firm voice interrupted her path. "You shouldn't be walking alone out here, especially with that look." Like someone carrying the weight of the world, Ha-yoon turned and found a young man with a striking presence. Ji-hoon Kang, CEO of a renowned tech startup in Seoul. Known both for his brilliance and for his rivalry with the Kang family empire. His dark suit reflected the city lights, and his eyes watched her with a mix of curiosity and empathy. Ha-yoon tried to hide it, but her tears betrayed her fragility. Ji-hoon didn't press with questions. He simply offered her a handkerchief. "You don't have to tell me anything." But remember this, the one ignored today may be the person everyone will need tomorrow. Those words struck Hyun's heart like a bomb. For the first time, someone wasn't looking at her with contempt or pity, but with respect. As she tucked the documents into her coat, she didn't know yet, but Ji-hoon wasn't just a stranger. He would become the mysterious ally, the man capable of helping her turn humiliation into power, even if it meant defying the entire city of Seoul. While Hyun silently carried the weight of her discovery, high above in the Kang family's penthouse in Itaewon, the night turned into conspiracy. Kang Soo-jin, dressed in a red silk kimono, gazed at the glowing city of Seoul through the panoramic window. Her eyes reflected arrogance, but also unease. Something in her intuition screamed. Hyun would not stay silent. That useless girl. I don't know what she's plotting, but I won't allow her to steal what's mine. She called a shady contact on her phone. The name flashing on the screen was Han Dae-sung, a tabloid journalist known for destroying reputations in exchange for money. I want you to ruin Hoon's image. Make up whatever is necessary. Debts, scandals, anything. I want the world to see her as a disgrace to the Kang family. At the same time, she spread venomous rumors among Seoul's elite friends, that Hoin envied her sister, that she got close to rich men to climb in life, that she was nothing but dead weight. Soo-jin smiled in front of the mirror, adjusting her golden crown. If Hyun dares to rise, she'll be crushed before she even takes her first step. What Soo-jin didn't know was that the more she tried to suffocate her sister, the closer she came to digging her own downfall. A few weeks later, the Kang family held a press conference in Gangnam, meant to reinforce Kang Soo-jin's flawless image as the perfect heir. Cameras, reporters, and flashes filled the modern hall, and the parents stood proudly beside their golden daughter. Soo-jin smiled with her usual arrogance, ready to be praised and exalted. But in the middle of the presentation, a journalist raised his voice firmly. Mr. Kang Min-ho, could you comment on the documents linking your daughter Soo-jin to illegal contracts with shell companies? A murmur of shock spread through the room. Soo-jin froze. The journalist displayed evidence on a giant screen. Bank statements, travel records, compromising messages. The accusations were serious. Corruption, money laundering, and collusion with local politicians, all tied to Soo-jin's name. The room erupted into chaos. Reporters shouted. Cameras broadcast live to all of Seoul. The image of the perfect daughter shattered before the entire city. That's a lie, Soo-jin shouted, but her voice sounded weak. The flashes didn't stop. Her parents tried to step in, but the damage was already done. In that moment, the Kang family's untouchable princess began to fall. The society that once applauded her now whispered, judged, and turned away. And among those watching the broadcast in silence, Hyun clutched the original documents to her chest, knowing that justice was only just beginning. The scandal involving Kang Soo-jin dominated the headlines of every newspaper in Seoul. In just a few days, the golden daughter's once idolized image had turned into a source of ridicule and disdain. Korean society, ruthless with the downfall of the perfect, watched as the Kang family empire shook like never before. It was in this climate that a charity event took place at Seoul City Hall, broadcast live across the nation. It was the Kang family's chance to try to salvage their honor. The parents stepped onto the stage once again, heads held high, trying to show strength. Soo-jin, with a nervous smile, struggled to hide the fear in her eyes. But in the middle of the ceremony, an unexpected presence appeared. Kang Hoin, dressed elegantly in a simple black dress, accompanied by Ji-hoon Kang, the rival young businessman. Whispers spread, and cameras immediately turned toward her. Ji-hoon walked to the podium, holding a folder. With a firm voice, he declared, "The public deserves to know the truth. For years, the true heir of the Kang family was hidden, so that another could take her place." The hall fell into absolute silence. He opened the folder and displayed original documents, hospital records, old photos, undeniable proof that Hyun was the rightful firstborn of the Kang family, deliberately switched to protect shady business dealings. The stunned guests turned their eyes to Hyun. For the first time, she was no longer in the shadows. She walked to the center of the stage, upright, steady, and faced her parents before all of Seoul. In that moment, the Kang family's mask crumbled. The entire world discovered that the Kangs had chosen the wrong daughter. The hall, at Seoul City Hall, seemed frozen. Cameras broadcast every detail live, and millions of people watched in shock. The weight of the truth had been revealed, but the most painful moment was still to come. Kang Hyun stood firm at the center of the stage, her eyes brimming with tears but filled with courage. She slowly turned to her parents. Mr. Kang Min-ho, once so proud, now trembled. Mrs. Park Gi-yeon covered her face with her hands, unable to look at her daughter. With a steady voice, Ho-in broke the silence. You called me useless, humiliated me in front of everyone, treated me like dead weight. But I was the daughter you should have protected. Her words cut through the air like knives. The guests, in absolute silence, felt the weight of those wounds. At the side, Sujin, desperate, fell to her knees. The golden shine of her dress couldn't hide the despair in her eyes. Ho-in, please, forgive me. I only wanted to be loved. Ho-in looked at her, holding back tears. There was no hatred, only deep pain. Love isn't gained by stealing what isn't yours. You knew, and still, you crushed me. The parents tried to step closer, but were stopped by the firm gaze of the daughter they had cast aside. You chose the wrong daughter. And now, destiny is making you pay dearly. Her words echoed through the hall like a final sentence. The cameras captured every tear, every glance, every expression of regret. The humiliation Ha-yoon had once suffered in silence was now returned in public, before all of Seoul. The public revelation turned Seoul into a whirlwind of news. Social media exploded with hashtags like #TheWrongDaughter and #Justice for Ha-eun. While the Kang family sank into scandal, Ha-yoon rose as a symbol of resilience. In the days that followed, Ji-hoon helped Ha-yoon organize the evidence and begin a legal process. The media confirmed it. She was the true firstborn of the Kang family, unjustly erased from history. The family company's stocks plummeted, and investors demanded change. It was then that Ha-yoon, at a press conference, took the most unexpected step. I don't want revenge. I want to rebuild. I want to prove that the Kang name can be remembered not for corruption, but for the courage to start again. With Ji-hoon's support and the help of allies who once ignored her, Ho-eun took leadership of part of the family's business. Her firm yet humane style earned immediate respect. Meanwhile, Sujin vanished from the spotlight, hidden by the scandal. The parents, now ashamed, watched as the daughter they once called useless became the foundation of what remained of their honor. In a twist of fate, the rejected daughter, the one once humiliated in front of everyone, became the true heir. And for the first time, Ho-in felt her pain transform into strength. Night fell over Seoul, and the city lights reflected on the Han River like earthly stars. Kang Ha-yoon walked side by side with Ji-hoon across the Grand Banpo Bridge, where the colorful fountain lights painted a spectacle in the sky. The soft wind brushed through her hair. But this time there were no tears of humiliation. Only the calm of someone who had finally found her own worth. Ji-hoon watched her in silence, admiring not only her courage, but also the strength that had grown out of her pain. Ha-yoon stopped in the middle of the bridge, gazing at the city that once seemed to crush her. In a low voice, almost like a whisper to herself, she said, "They chose the wrong daughter. And now destiny has collected every tear." Ji-hoon smiled and replied, "But this is only the beginning, Ha-yoon. The real power is in what you're going to build from here." Showing the two of them against Seoul's glowing skyline. Seoul's glowing skyline. Skyline, when the family chooses the wrong daughter, destiny always makes them pay dearly. But what if the rejected daughter chose not just to win, but to take revenge? And so, the video. The next part of the story.
Hey, did you like this story? Then hit subscribe to Between Lies and Love so you won't miss the next chapters. Don't forget to like this video. It really helps us bring you more emotional, anime-style K-drama stories. And I want to know, what was your favorite part of this story? What do you think we could do better in the next episodes? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and your idea might even show up in the next video. So subscribe, like, comment, and join this family that loves drama, twists, and unforgettable stories.